Let me ask you something that might be a little uncomfortable. When was the last time you woke up feeling genuinely strong? Not just rested, but strong. The kind of feeling where you get out of bed without bracing yourself. Where you walk downstairs and don't grip the railing. Where you look in the mirror and recognize the man looking back at you. If you're honest with yourself, that might have been a while ago. And if you're watching this right now, there's a good chance you've noticed things changing. Maybe it's the way your body feels stiff in the morning. Maybe it's the way a task that used to take 20 minutes now takes twice as long because you're just tired. Maybe it's the fact that your shirts fit a little differently, and not in a way you're proud of. Maybe it's something subtler, a feeling that the energy you used to carry everywhere with you just isn't as dependable as it once was. Here's what I want you to know right now, before we go any further. That is not weakness. That is not inevitable. And it is absolutely not the end of your story. But here's what most men over 60 have never been told. And this is the part that genuinely changes things. What's happening inside your body during the first 90 minutes after you wake up may be the single most important window for your testosterone, your muscle, and your physical strength for the entire rest of the day. And most men are unknowingly sabotaging that window every single morning. Not because they're lazy, not because they don't care, but because nobody ever explained this to them. That's what we're going to fix today. If you're someone who wants to stay strong, independent, and energized as you get older, take a second and hit that like button and subscribe to Golden Age Strength. Every week we put out practical, science-backed health strategies designed specifically for men over 50. No gimmicks, no extreme programs, just real information that works for real bodies at this stage of life. Now stay with me, because what I'm about to share with you is going to reframe everything you think you know about testosterone after 60. And the 5 morning habits I'm going to walk you through aren't complicated. They don't require a gym membership. They don't cost much money. But the research behind them is solid, and the difference they can make in how you feel, how you move, and how you age is remarkable. Let's start with the truth that most men are never told. By the time a man reaches 60, his testosterone levels have typically been declining for 2 decades. The drop usually begins around age 30 and continues steadily. By 60, many men have testosterone levels that are 30 to 50% lower than they were in their prime years. And the symptoms are real. We're talking about fatigue that sleep doesn't fix, muscle that disappears even when you're still active, fat that accumulates around the midsection almost as if it has a mind of its own, brain fog, low motivation, poor mood, reduced confidence, a general sense that your body is working against you rather than with you. Now here's what the mainstream conversation gets completely wrong about this. Most men are told that low testosterone is simply a natural part of aging, and that there's not much you can do about it short of medical intervention. And while hormone replacement therapy is a valid option for some men under proper medical supervision, and if you're dealing with significant symptoms, speaking with your doctor is always worth exploring, the truth is that your body still has the biological machinery to produce meaningful amounts of testosterone naturally. It just needs the right conditions. And those conditions are created in large part by what you do in the morning. Think of your body like a power plant. During the night, while you're sleeping, your body runs on a reduced power load. It's conserving energy, doing maintenance, performing repairs. Then, as morning approaches, something remarkable happens. Your body begins preparing to rev back up. Growth hormone surges. Cortisol rises in a healthy way to give you alertness. And in healthy men, testosterone peaks in the early morning hours, typically between 6 and 8 in the morning. That morning testosterone peak is a real biological event. It's your body's built-in performance window. And what you do in those first 60 to 90 minutes after waking either amplifies that natural peak or blunts it before your day even begins. This is what I call the morning strength protocol. 5 specific habits that work with your body's natural hormonal rhythm rather than against it. Each one is grounded in research. Each one is practical. And together, they create a compounding effect that is genuinely powerful over time. So let's walk through all 5. And I promise by the time we're done, you're going to see your morning routine in a completely different light. The first habit is one that surprises most men when they hear it, because it sounds almost too simple. but the science behind it is genuinely compelling. It's getting natural light into your eyes within the first 15 to 30 minutes of waking up. I know, you were probably expecting something more dramatic. But stay with me, because this one has a deeper impact on your testosterone than most men realize. Your body runs on an internal clock called the circadian rhythm. Every major hormone your body produces, testosterone, cortisol, growth hormone, melatonin, is regulated by this clock. And the master reset switch for that clock is light. Specifically, natural sunlight that enters your eyes in the morning. When bright natural light hits your retina in the morning, it sends a signal to a tiny region of your brain called the suprachiasmatic nucleus. Think of that as your body's master conductor. That signal tells every organ, every gland, and every hormone system in your body, the day has begun. Get to work. And one of the first systems that responds is your hormonal axis, the chain of signals that runs from your brain down to your testes and tells them to produce testosterone. Research has shown that men who get consistent morning light exposure tend to have better regulated testosterone rhythms throughout the day. Studies on circadian biology have demonstrated that disrupted light-dark cycles, the kind that happen when you stay indoors all morning, sleep with blackout curtains, or scroll on your phone with artificial blue light before natural light exposure, can suppress the hormonal signals that drive testosterone production. Now compare that with a man who steps outside first thing in the morning. Even on a cloudy day, outdoor light is dramatically brighter than indoor light. We're talking 10 to 50 times more photons reaching your eyes. That signal is strong. It's clear. It tells your body's systems to fire up properly. So here's what this looks like in practice. Within the first 20 to 30 minutes of waking, step outside for 5 to 10 minutes. You don't need to stare at the sun. Just let the natural outdoor light reach your eyes. A short walk works perfectly. Standing on your porch works. Even sitting by a window with actual outdoor brightness coming through is better than nothing, though being outside is best. This one habit begins to synchronize your hormonal rhythm in a way that everything else you do that morning builds on top of. It's the foundation, and it costs you nothing. Here's what most people never realize about this. The benefit isn't just hormonal. Morning light exposure has also been shown in research to improve mood, alertness, sleep quality at night, and even body composition over time. All from 10 minutes outside. That's the kind of simple habit that compounds beautifully over months and years. Now, the second habit of the morning strength protocol gets into something that directly fuels your muscle. And this one goes against conventional wisdom in a way that might genuinely surprise you. For years, men have been told that the best time to eat protein is after a workout. The so-called anabolic window, a period right after exercise when your muscles are supposedly most hungry for building material. But recent research has started to paint a more nuanced picture. And for men over 60 specifically, what happens at breakfast with protein may be just as important. Here's why. As men age, a phenomenon called anabolic resistance develops. That's a fancy way of saying your muscles become less responsive to the protein you eat. In a younger man, eating 30 grams of protein at a meal is enough to trigger a meaningful muscle-building response. In a man over 60, that threshold is higher. Your muscles need more protein, and they need it delivered more strategically to get the same signal. Think of it like this. Imagine your muscle cells are construction workers waiting for materials to arrive. In your 20s, a small delivery truck would show up and they'd get right to work. As you get older, those same workers become pickier. They need a bigger delivery to really get moving. And here's the crucial part. If the delivery truck doesn't show up in the morning and those workers sit idle, they don't just wait patiently. They start cannibalizing the existing structure. The body begins breaking down muscle protein to meet other needs. This process is called muscle protein catabolism, and it happens overnight while you're fasting. The longer the fast continues into the day, the more this process can gain ground. For older men who already have less muscle to spare, this is a real concern. What research from institutions including the American Journal of Clinical Nutrition has demonstrated is that distributing high-quality protein across multiple meals, including breakfast, produces significantly better muscle-building signals in older adults compared to eating most of your protein in the evening. We're talking about a breakfast that includes at least 30 to 40 grams of complete protein. That means eggs, Greek yogurt, cottage cheese, a quality protein shake, fish, or some combination of these. But here's an important note, and I want to be clear about this. You don't have to eat the moment you wake up if your body isn't ready for it. The goal is to get that meaningful protein intake in during your morning, within the first couple of hours. What you want to avoid is skipping protein at breakfast entirely, or replacing it with nothing but toast or cereal or coffee. And there's another layer to this that ties directly back to testosterone. Protein provides the raw materials, amino acids, that your body uses to build everything, including the enzymes and structural components involved in hormone production. Consistently low protein intake has been associated with lower testosterone in older men. Consistently adequate protein intake supports the entire anabolic environment your body needs to stay strong. So the second habit is simple. Eat a high-protein breakfast every morning. Make it real food when possible. Make it 30 to 40 grams at minimum. And treat it not as optional, but as a non-negotiable part of your morning routine, because your muscles are literally waiting for those building materials. Now let's talk about the third habit. And this one is where things get genuinely interesting, because it involves movement, but probably not the kind of movement you're thinking of. Most men, when they think about exercise and testosterone, think about lifting heavy weights. And there's truth in that. Resistance training is one of the most powerful natural testosterone boosters known. But what happens when your joints are stiff in the morning? When your knees ache and your lower back is tight, and the idea of going straight into a hard workout feels not just unappealing, but potentially dangerous? Here's where most men make a critical mistake. They either push through and risk injury, or they skip the movement entirely and lose the hormonal benefit. But there's a third path, and it's the one that the research actually supports most strongly for men in their 60s and beyond.